So, Marcus, man, the Pistons got heard they got the fifth pick. What's going on with the Pistons, man?
So the talk of the town right now is that for the third, I believe it's the third straight year, the Detroit Pistons will be drafting in that fifth spot. Yesterday they lost the draft lottery again. This is the third year where they've had or have been tied with the worst record in the NBA, and for the third time in a row, they've dropped the worst they could possibly drop from
But
one
but
spot.
but check but check it out, man. Like I've been hearing all these, everybody's all upset because we got the fifth spot again, which is understandable. But I also been hearing like there's wasn't any value in in that first pick anyway. So what do it matter?
So just like last year, the Wembanyama sweepstakes, everybody was big on Victor. I wasn't big on Victor. I was worried about him being able to stay healthy. Turns out the dude is legit. Rookie of the year, put up numbers, look good doing it. The future is bright for my man. But that being said, I wasn't big on Wemby because, or I should say, I wasn't big on us winning the lottery last year because I really wanted Brandon Miller, who ended up going. Ooh, I think he went second. He might have went third, but I wanted Brandon Miller just because I felt like he fit the Pistons better. But in retrospect, yeah, Wemby is the truth. So if we got Wemby, that would have also turned the team around. But that being said, this year, same thing. There are like well, I shouldn't even say three. I'm aware of two players that should be legitimate NBA players, should be all-stars and future all-stars. I guess I could put it like that. And both of them will be going in the top three. So, dropping down to five now it's like nobody agrees what you're going to do with the five. So if you have like a Brad Holmes, GM who will go out there and he'll put in the work and make the best decision for the organization and he'll stand behind that pick. If you had a guy like that, then picking that five is cool. Just like when he had when he picked Jahmyr Gibbs, there was that draft was kind of all over the place, but Jahmyr Gibbs was kind of considered a second round guy. But at the same time, Brian Branch was considered a first round guy, and Branch didn't go to the second, and Gibbs ended up going in the first. So like this is kind of how this draft is kind of shaping up. Like once you get past like one, it's kind of wide open where everybody could go. So you don't it's no telling what the Pistons are going to do with that fifth pick. No telling at all.
So do you think? So do you think there are some guys like, well, one I was gonna say one through three, but you said one through two that can actually make a difference on this team?
On the Pistons team?
Yeah.
Like I said, man, so before you can even the thing is, the Pistons are so bad, right? They're just so bad that you can't even really. It's so hard. So just take it for instance, last week, you look at the Pistons and how bad they are, and you try to figure out ways how to make them better, and you start going through the draft. But then it's like, well, I don't know who I should be looking at in the draft because they haven't done the lottery yet. All the mock drafts obviously had the Pistons selected number one because they had the worst record, but obviously they're at five now. So that would have been a waste. So, all right, now we know they're picking at five, but Tom Gores put out a statement saying that, hey, going into next year, we are going to hire a new president of basketball operations who's basically going to be able to have the final say on any decision that's made for this team. We're going to keep Troy Weaver, but but on the flip side, a statement just came out, or not a statement, but NBA media writer released, not a rumor, but basically he's been hearing that the Pistons are struggling to find somebody to even take an interview for this job. People aren't really cooperating with them for this job. And he also said that basically the Pistons put out a statement saying that, hey, whoever does take this president of operations job, they got full autonomy if they want to fire Troy Weaver. So why you wouldn't just fire Troy Weaver if you are going to give this next person the ability to fire him makes absolutely no sense to me. But that being said, you can't even really decide if there's a player because you don't even know who's making the pick.
Okay, you answered my question for me because I was going to ask you if they hiring a basketball manager of basketball operations that with full autonomy with the final say of everything. What's the point of the GM?
I don't know. I don't know. So we gotta wait to find out who they're gonna hire as this new president. He's gotta figure out what he's gonna do with this roster. Cade Cunningham has one more year on his rookie deal next season, I believe. So he's due for a contract extension. You know, do you trade Cade Cunningham to try to restart this broken rebuild as it already is? Or do you go ahead and draft a player and try to fit him in? And then the other thing that people are talking about, optimistic people. It was funny. I was on a YouTube post and I was going ham on the Pistons, and this guy this guy commented saying that, wow, you are more pessimistic about the Pistons than I am. And I looked at that and I was just like, what is there to be optimistic about? Like there's literally nothing to be optimistic about. I pointed out that the Pistons lost 28 straight games in one regular season, which was, you know, a record in itself. Pistons,
right.
Obviously were the worst team in basketball last year. They hired the highest paid coach in NBA Pistons history, and that coach turned around and produced the lowest win total in NBA Piston history. And the Pistons played 62. The Pistons played 62 more games than the Detroit Lions. And at the end of the year, the Detroit Lions and the Pistons both won a combined 14, or they both won 14 games respectively. So you played 62 more games than the Lions, but you both ended up with 14 wins. So, I mean, I ask somebody, please let me know, what is there to be optimistic about?
I mean, if you want to put it that way, I mean, not much. I've been hearing rumblings though, man, on Woodward. People have been saying this saying this theory about, like, what if you trade like the pick and one of your players? Well, I think they were talking about number one, but
no, I feel you. I've heard that you package Ivy or you package Duran with the fifth pick and try to get an established player, which is, you know. So here's my So I could give you Marcus's plan. I'll give you Marcus's plan, and then I'll give you reality plan. Marcus's plan is what I would say 75% of the fan base does not want to do, which is trade Cade Cunningham. Now, what you trade Cade Cunningham for, and real quick, I just want to put it out there. I think Cade has a bright future ahead of him. I think
it's not for Detroit.
Just not for Detroit. It's just going to take too long. It's going to take too long for those stars to align where it would make sense to keep Cade here. So I would trade Cade. Now, what you trade him for is up to you. You can either trade him for first round draft picks. I had another argument with somebody online, and I was pointing out that there's a player, Dejounte Murray. Dejounte Murray played for the San Antonio Spurs, point guard. He was 6 years into the league. So Kay's only 3 years into the league, right? But Dejounte Murray was 6 years into the league. He was putting up 20 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists a game, 28 and 9. Cade Cunningham is 3 years into the league, and his last season he was putting up 22 points, 4 rebounds, and 8 assists, roughly. So it's not too far apart.
Right.
They traded Dejounte Murray. The Atlanta Hawks picked up Dejounte Murray from the Spurs. They ended up being like 3 first-round draft picks for Dejounte Murray. So what sparked me to look that up, but somebody was like, if you trade Cade, we're gonna get like a first round, we're gonna get 1 first-round pick. And that was ridiculous. Like Dejounte Murray got 3 first-round picks. So Cade is young, Cade has a bright future ahead of him. I think you could I shouldn't say easily, but you should be able to get 3 picks, 2 first-round picks at the minimum, and then you can start your rebuild like that. You could trade like that, or you could go the other route, and I look at Tyrese Halliburton for the Indiana Pacers. Right now, Pacers are in the second round, battling out with the New York Knicks, second round of playoffs. Tyrese Halliburton got drafted by the Sacramento Kings. A lot of people were mad that Troy Weaver didn't take Tyrese Halliburton. He took Killian Hayes instead, so we all know how that worked out. But Tyrese Halliburton got drafted by the Kings, but at the same time, they had their backcourt had De'Aaron Fox. It didn't work out. That was basically 2 point guards in your backcourt, which is what we have right now, Ivy and Cade. So they traded Tyrese Halliburton for Domantas Sabonis. Those are both 2 foundational pieces, and they just traded them. It was other teams involved and whatnot, but they traded them, and it was a blockbuster trade, and it worked out for both teams. The Sacramento Kings, they made the playoffs last year, and like I said, the Indiana Pacers are in it right now. So, but the moral of the story is they traded him for a player that fit the team that they had better, right? Because you didn't need 2 point guards. And just like right now, we don't need 2 point guards. And a lot of people want to, like you said, package Ivy and that pick. Well, I say you don't need to package that pick. You use that pick, you trade Cade, you get back, a power forward, a small forward, somebody that fits this team, somebody who can, is a shooter, which is what the Pistons are adverse to picking up right now. Troy Weaver hates shooters for some reason. You trade Cade for a 4. I can't slip in my mind right now. But anyway, you trade him for a power forward that can shoot. And then that way you got Duren, you got power forward, you got an established power forward, small forward type player. You can pick up somebody in free agency. You got Jaden Ivey running the point. You don't have to restart this whole thing, and you can basically change it up on the fly. Those are my 2 ideas on what the Pistons should do if they want to get better quick. But what they're going to do is they're going to re-sign Cade. They're going to throw money to whoever will take it, because that's the Tom Gore's way. Throw money to whoever will take it in free agency. And it'll probably be some guys that, they're like role players on, you might get a couple of role players from a playoff team, but, the thing about role players is when you take them off that playoff team, the production kind of declines. You hope that it doesn't, but I feel like that's generally what happens. It's just kind of natural. But
sounds like how the Lions used to be. Players come here to die.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
seeing as we talking about in hypotheticals, and you're gonna love this. I heard one theory about the Pistons going ahead and drafting Bronny and bringing LeBron James here, man. What do you think about that? That'll be a veteran. That'll be a veteran surrounded by all the stars you need. I mean, the young stars.
Yeah, that's been I don't know if I said it on here, but that's been on my mind for a while now. It wouldn't work out. It wouldn't work out like that though. It would be more of a hostage situation, right? So you draft Bronny, LeBron James finds out about this, and he's got a beef. Nobody has more pull in the NBA than LeBron James. So he's going to do whatever it takes. He's going to make his calls. He's going to go do his back channels, and he's going to make it. He might just call Adam Silver, like, listen, my son cannot play in Detroit. We just can't let it happen, which is cool because I'm cool with that, right? LeBron James is definitely not coming here. So what you do is you draft.
I mean, it's right down the street from Cleveland.
What you do is you draft Bronny and you hold him hostage and you force LeBron James to basically be your GM and force another GM to trade for Bronny and get as much as you can in return. And that is another way to start the rebuild.
Okay. All right. Well, you handled that better than I thought you would. I thought you were gonna just lose it, but okay, I got you. That's
I've been for that since day one. It was a joke when I said it at first, but as the season progressed, and I just saw that we got to really think outside the box to fix this team. It would never happen. But that's one of the outside the box type thinking. I looked at a mock draft too, and the consensus, it's my draft, so take that for what it's worth. But the consensus for the Pistons right now is I can't even pronounce the name, Matas Bazelis. He's they say he's like a 6'10", small forward, right? I was like, oh, okay, 6'10", small forward, okay. But it said, obviously he's got the pros, his player's great at, is very athletic, very exciting player, athletic, highlight reel, blah, 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 blah. Can you guess what it said he needs to work on?
Shooting.
Needs to improve 3-point shot. And I was like, I just don't understand. Maybe they're just trolling us, though. Maybe they're just trolling us because it's like how me and you look at Lions mock drafts. It's like, well, this guy, Lions love this type of player. So maybe the people doing the mock drafts is like, oh, the Pistons love players that can't shoot. So maybe they're just trolling us. But I
don't know, man. See, the Lions, they always get it wrong. Like they always, I think they don't understand the line. I think people don't understand the Lions' identity. With the Pistons, lately, man, it's kind of been, if not spot on, like right about around what they do.
Well, I mean, the Lions, I wouldn't say that they don't understand their identity. I think, this last one, the consensus for the Lions was Alabama
Kool-Aid.
quarterback. They just had the wrong one.
Right, but they said, people were like, Kool-Aid, definitely. Kool-Aid, that's the guy. He is definitely a Lion, and I don't want to hear nothing else about it. Moving on to the next, because they don't stay long on it. They're moving on to the next team.
Right, but at the same time, Terrion Arnold in every mock draft was going in the top 15.
Okay, I'll give you that. I don't know, man. I just think it's an anomaly. Like whenever the Lions are on the board, or people are predicting what the Lions are going to do, everybody's so sure that the Lions are going to do one thing, and then when it's time for them to do it, they do something completely opposite.
Yeah,
what they did, and everybody be like, "Oh, that's a horrible idea," and then it works out.